What's up guys, Como here from the Code Deco channel. We've just been hit with a Marvel Snap mid-season patch. So we've got the notes currently sitting in our game announcements section of our Discord channel. If you're not already in the Discord, check the link below, you can find it all there. So we're just going to be reading through to get initial thoughts, see if there's anything important here. I've had a quick scan through it, but I wanted to keep this a bit fresh and sort of react how you see me reacting, you know? So let's get into it. Absorbing Man's effect can now be doubled by effects like Wong, Kamartaj, and Odin. Which is great because we literally just released a video explaining about how that doesn't work. So, yeah, as you all know, Absorbing Man's effect, when it takes on another effect, it becomes that card, kind of like Mystique, so it just embodies that on reveal effect. So that's good that you can now Wong it. The carousel should no longer get stuck mid-rotation on PC. That's nice, because that's been annoying for a long time. Move the position of the Pro Bundle to the bottom of the shop. Okay. Not sure if that's a bug fix, but seems perfectly reasonable. Fast forward VFX should properly shown when Onslaught is played on Bar Sinister. Oh. I haven't seen that one before, so that's news to me, but good fix, I guess. Altar of Death now gives energy if Green Goblin or Hobgoblin are played and destroyed on the opponent's side. Yeah, it's something that you would like to see. Losing internet connection on the friendly battle matchmaking now gives a correct connection error message instead of remaining on the matchmaking screen. That's a very good improvement. I'm sure it's an oversight that would have originally been not implemented. Fixed a soft lock if both players were constantly idle in friendly battles. Okay, I'm not sure what that one's about. Reduce size of cards in focus view so they overlap less with the variant / eyes nameplate. That's okay. I didn't see much of an issue with that to begin with, but fix an issue that could cause soft locks in the fast upgrade flow. Ah, that's nice. Focusing a card in CLTR and Season Pass no longer plays the new card and stinger sound effects. Alright, reasonable fixes here. Purchasing credits, fast upgrades, token shop cards, and gold no longer causes the shop to scroll up. Yes! Thank you, Second Dinner, because that was annoying. Fixed an issue that prevented some variants from displaying in the token shop properly. I haven't seen it myself. Miles Morales' cost is correctly reduced if a card is moved and destroyed before its move results. Nice. With a bit of Miles Morales. Fixed a soft lock when the undo actions UI opened over the retreat UI. Ah. I haven't actually seen that, but I know that it's a little bit janky sometimes when, especially on mobile, you're clicking things and it will sort of focus on the layer underneath, so that's good. AI should no longer retreat in matches for new players under rank 10. It's very reasonable. Ranked reward notification pips now appear again when you reach a new rank and have climbable rewards. Enough said about that. The prompt for inputting an incorrect friendly battle code has been updated. Cool. Added correct variant name for a sentry variant that was previously missing. Whatever. If a card is played on Shuri's lab and moves, the VFX now appear on the correct location. I did notice this one before. Wasn't coming from the right place. Enemy emote font size is no longer too small. Cool. Fixed an R-snap error that could occur when Strange Academy moved cards. Okay. Goose's visual effects now plays in the correct location when it moves. Okay. Kingpin's in the same effect. Yeah. Continuing the fixed issues, we've got Jess Jones VFX not displaying properly. Fair. Punisher's drag VFX should now display correctly. Iron Fist no longer remains on the board if it is destroyed after activating. Hadn't seen that one. Fixed an issue that was causing Vormir sound effects not to play at times. Fixed a problem with Korean fonts that made text too big. Booster colours are now updating properly in the Battle Pass rewards list. Not that anyone cares. Fixed to the Isle of Silence for cards that are not marked ongoing in text. I wonder what this refers to because I'm not sure what this issue is. If you could let me know in the comments if you know exactly what this is referring to, I would love to know that. Fixed a layout problem that caused a gap between the in-game player and opponent avatar and the player and opponent info pop-up. That was a bit of a mouthful. I'm not sure exactly what it means. Quickly tapping to get premium season pass multiple times will no longer cause the game to be stuck. I hadn't seen that. Many art fixes over a variety of cards and variants. Kind of vague. The Steam client should now use correct language as the initial locale. It's nice for new players. Having 3 or 4 custom searches no longer causes the UI elements in the filter to clip into each other. That's nice. Search and filter menus no longer clip under the notch at the top of iOS devices. Okay. The player name change icon is no longer squished on certain devices. Cool. Fix the font size for some languages for the header text on the new season's welcome splash screen. Fixed an issue where you could purchase the wrong item from the token shop if you purchased just as the shop rolled over. I can't imagine how much that would have stung. If you were the one to have had to report that, I don't think there would have been any refunds in those circumstances, so good for us, I guess. It's no longer possible to enter nothing but spaces as a profile name. That's one as a software tester you've always got to look out for. Added a no connection warning to the main splash screen. Okay, that could be useful. Now we're moving on to the general update section. So this is where it's looking like, obviously after the series drops that we have already seen coming out, we should get some information on how the meta is going to be affected with the different card effects. So from Series 5, we've got Silver Surfer, Null, Darkhawk and Sentry going down. We're already aware of this, but now it's in effect. And from Series 4, we've got Agent Coulson, Maria Hill, Helicarrier. 5 and 4 have now shared rotation protection in the token shop. Added a confirmation dialogue when purchasing the season pass levels. Tapping the credits or gold icons on the top of the screen will navigate to the shop. Okay. Art and visual effects. Made Onslaught's visual effects faster, especially for Bar Sinister. That's quite a nice touch, to be fair. Added an additional VFX to the location affected by Claw's ability. I can't wait to see what that is. And I have a feeling that we'll see it played against us rather than going out and playing it. Added a notification for you when you try and discard while your hand is empty. Do wonder if that'll affect Gambit, but probably not. Added animation for Rickety Bridge location. Yes! Nice! Mysterio's illusions will now use your Mysterio's variant. Oh, okay. Now this is really cool, and I'm really hoping that Second Dinner implement more of this. We've been saying for the longest time that when you do have variants that spawn other cards, for example, Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier, if you have a variant, should be some way of implementing that you get a different variant for your clone or additional cards that come out. So this is really cool. Okay, moving into the card updates. We've got Darkhawk moving from a 4-1 to a 4-0. Dev's comments on this. Darkhawk is an especially powerful card. As we prepared this balance change before the Silver Surfer and Zabu nerfs went live, we didn't want to hit him too hard. However, we definitely felt that knocking off at least one power from him is warranted, and we will continue to monitor his performance. Now, this makes me upset, guys. You have already nerfed the Darkhawk, okay? Make no mistake, when Zabu got nerfed, all of the 4-drops got nerfed. All the powerful 4-drops were nerfed. Darkhawk is already no longer what he used to be. I feel like this is just taking a card and being a little bit out of touch with where the progress has gone since the last update and kicking it while it's already down. So not too happy about this. I'm sure it'll still be a playable beat stick, but unnecessary. Thanos, from a 6 cost 8 power card to a 6 cost 11 power card. Now, if this is news to you as you're watching along with this, you've got to be as surprised as I am, because this doesn't make any sense. So let's see the dev comment. We think that Thanos is one of the coolest cards. Maybe true, and we're a bit sad that he himself isn't played often. Most Thanos decks focus primarily on making good use of the stones, but we want to make sure that the Mad Titan himself has enough power to play. Now, this is mind-blowing. This is ridiculous. This is so out of touch, I can't even put words to it. Although, actually, I can. So the whole point of this update, this patch to Thanos, is that the deck was already so good that you didn't need the one card to make it available to actually be played on the field. That's how good the Thanos stones already are. That's how consistent the deck already is. But this is the bit that gets me, right? We're a bit sad. So the devs have literally taken umbrage to just the statistics of how often Thanos enters the field in the Thanos decks, and have given no merit to just how powerful all of the stones are without him. So this has taken Thanos, and I'll say any Thanos builds, in quotes, there will be better ones than others. It's taken it from possibly the best archetype to build in the game, winning the big invitational just last week in America, to bumping that up 3 power and making it, I'd say without a shadow of a doubt now, the best deck in the game that you can build, something around Thanos and a bunch of other 6-drops that you can roll into. I think that's insane. Totally out of touch with the metagame, and will cause more issues than the bit of sadness for the devs that it has solved. So yeah, I think we'll continue to see more Thanos played, and we'll just leave it at that for now, I guess. So Sandman going from a 4-1 to a 5-5. Didn't see that coming. Not gonna lie, I always thought the Sandman could do with a bit of a power buff. But let's get into the dev comments here. Many of the strongest decks right now have strategies centered around playing multiple cards on turn 6. Sandman should be a good answer to these decks, but he didn't quite have the sand to stand up to them with his previous stat line. Okay, seconder. Okay. We're giving him a bit more power to make him a more competitive card, but also subsequently bumping up his cost. Seems fairly reasonable. I guess Sandman's also still a little bit limp. I mean, if you're going to ramp into him, which I guess in a lot of occasions you kind of want to be doing, not sure how I feel about it too much. Ideally, if you've got your Electro going off, you end up getting into your Sandman a little early, doing your leech plays, doing bots, all that good stuff, and trying to get wide while your opponent can't. Yeah, you do want to be ramping into that, but the deck overall isn't that powerful that is competing, for example, with the likes of Thanos. And especially not if you can't get the Sandman out as early now. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. Not too sure how I feel about it. We may drum up something to try and demonstrate what the Sandman can do now, but at most I'll say that update's kind of okay. Okay, so Dev comments, the cards below are rather weak at the moment, so we're giving them a small buff to help them perform a bit better. Okie dokie, we've got Spider-Woman going from a 5/7 to a 5/8. Seems perfectly reasonable. No one plays Spider-Woman. Obviously, hitting that off in a full lane makes her a 5/12, which is pretty strong. The fact that it's an ongoing on-reveal ability, should I say, and that it can whiff really hard sometimes means that she's never really been much of a head in the metagame, but it's an okay buff. Namor going from a 4/5 to a 4/6 is whatever. I still don't think it's going to see the light of day. Dagger going from a 2/1 to a 2/2 is reasonable. So it looks like Second Dinner are continuing to try and buff up the movement archetype. Makes a lot of sense. We do want to see more movement cards coming into play that have a little more versatility, being able to move your cards in different directions and that kind of stuff, but it seems like they're sort of pushing in the right direction, and Dagger is one of the better movement cards that you can have in that type. Text only update to Yondu. So, the age-old question of, why does Yondu not say destroy? Destroy the top card of your opponent's deck. Dev comment, Yondu's text now accurately describes his effect. Please remember that most triggered and ongoing effects are not active while a card is still in your deck. So despite the word destroy, Yondu can remove Colossus and Wolverine with impunity. Good that they've cleared that up. I can only imagine that Yondu's going to still have a huge crush on America Chavez and go for that card every time, but I wonder if now they will add the destroy to the list of destroys that shows in the players drop downs. I think that would be a better addition. Oh no, that's okay. Text only updates. As an ongoing effort to improve card and location text, we've adjusted everything that currently says when you play a card to say after you've played a card instead. This so far sounds completely reasonable. Don't think it's going to swing the way that anyone's brain interprets these effects too much, especially if you've already been playing with these cards and you're used to the effects. We hope this makes it clearer that these abilities trigger once a card has been fully played, including its on-reveal effects. Yeah, it stands to reason. It makes a lot of sense. So we've got in this list Angela, Bishop, Iron Fist, Lockjaw, and Titania. I guess the one here that people did have questions on until quite recently, and maybe still, is Titania, because she's a little newer than the other cards, but I don't mind that change at all. Location updates, we've got Sakaar. After this turn, put a card from each player's hand here. Sakaar has a lot of weird interactions with cards like Storm and Wave as a consequence of revealing a card mid-turn. While we're sad to lose the exciting moment of Sakaar revealing, did they really just call the moment of Sakaar revealing exciting? I guess they did. We want to avoid these confusing interactions going forward. We think this design will also open up some interesting interaction points in the early game. As a note, Sakaar in the introductory missions will retain the old effect. Okay, I'm a little conflicted about this. If you watch our streams much, you'll know that we play in the ridiculous bot elo, and Sakaar, with any sort of RNG location, it will just rip like the worst or some of the worst possible negatives from us that it can, while rewarding the other player, the bot player, obviously. And I don't mind this effect changing. I think there's maybe a better way they could have handled it with the effect, but dev work is dev work. This was probably the only way they could fix it without having to change the text of everything and get too deep into how the cards functioned as a whole. But this last note, that Sakaar in the introductory missions will retain the old effect, is a little bit weird to me. It kind of smacks of laziness, but maybe they just tried to make it work and it was messing with other things. We don't really know. but that will probably mess with new players a little bit more than anyone else being affected. But I guess the beginning of the game isn't too long that should really impact anyone for the long term. Text only update. As noted in cards updates, the following locations are being revised to used after instead of when for triggers related to playing a card. Okay, so it's same as these up here, but we just got the changes to the effects of the locations instead this time. So in this list, we've got Altar of Death, Bar Sinister, Cloning Vats, Danger Room, Death's Domain, Leshaguia, Luke's Bar, Machine World, Orcish Forge, Quantum Tunnel, Shuri's Lab, Sinister London, Vibranium Mines, and Vormir. Like I said before, the text update seems perfectly reasonable, probably going to make a little bit more sense to the general community. And last of all, down here we have got adjusted the cost of Clintar's symbiote from 1 to 4. I'm taking from this that the main reason for swinging this a little bit is to prevent Killmonger from being able to just spike off an easy lane. So it's not as terrible if you do end up with things in there, especially if you've played into unrevealed locations. Obviously you lose your effect, but at least you can't just get straight up Killmongered out of there. One interesting thing to note though here is that with it now being a 4, this will be prone to being hit by Magneto's effect. So you will want to watch out for that. Things like Kingpin, Fist Tower. If you have a heavy amount of power in a symbiote, just be aware that it can get pulled around now by Magneto. So, all in all, some decent updates to the text of some cards and locations. But this, I feel, is really out of touch. Darkhawk, Thanos updates just seem like it's almost like the devs don't want to be part of the community. They just really like their statistics. I think we were going to be seeing more Thanos play in general because it's one of the strongest deck archetypes. But with this buff, it's just going to blow it through the moon. I don't understand why they've done this, but we'll definitely be playing some Thanos on stream, I can tell you that for free. While I was in the process of getting this video together, Demos actually sent across his opinions on this new patch. So we've got Darkhawk seems totally unnecessary at this point, but okay. Much agreed. Thanos, again, unnecessary to buff what is widely considered the best deck, but okay. Sandman, solid counter to Sarah decks. Now, this is something that I didn't consider in my initial analysis, but with Sandman being 1 power over Sarah and actually swiping tempo while simultaneously destroying their plan, but a lot of decks won't be playing tons and tons on 6, mainly the big deck, the Shuri stuff, or Thanos. That one will be an interesting one for sure. Spider-Woman, a potential 5/12 if it hits a full lane, is definitely a welcome to try and make it more playable, but it might be overly mad in pool 1 and 2. That's a good thought for context, that as such an early card, it could see a lot more potential in that area. Namor might be able to swipe things like Hala or Asgard, but it's still very whatever. Yeah, tons of agreement there. Dagger is fine, buff, but don't think it will be overly impactful. Yeah, I'd agree with Demo on this. I don't think the impact is going to be huge. However, like I was saying, the steps towards making the move archetype a little bit more effective are welcome in my eyes. Fixes just seem to make the game more logical sense, which is good, i.e. Sakaran wordings. Quick thought, big deck passing on 5 into opponent's Sandman will suck a really big... could be very good. That's a real valid point. Maybe Sandman will see a bit more play in things that are really disruptive, but obviously not the sort of Sarah throw a bunch of stuff out in the end turn types of decks, more the have your biggest cards and ramp into them type of decks. So that's the update in a nutshell, guys. If you're not already in the Discord, there will be a link in the description down below. You can go check it out there. We do have the game announcements in here, as well as places to come and chat with the community and show off your pictures, etc. And check the description as well for links to our Twitter. We got the Discord for the battle tournament community and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll catch you on stream soon. Bye bye bye.